everyone, we are from Group C, LTM Class B. We would like to share and discuss you about our presentation, and the title of our presentation is Azure Model in Teaching. Before we start, I would like to introduce our beloved crewmates. They are Mikael Aryo, Teresia Davina, Bernadetta Christie, Novia Karen, Alvita Damayanti, Anindita Hemas Ayu, Aprilia Bernike, and Kezia Anindita. Before we start the presentation, I would like to share and inform you about our today's discussion. For the first, we would like to present about what is Azure Model in Teaching, why we use it, what are the tips and steps of using it, what are the advantages and disadvantages, what is the real implementation of Azure Model in Teaching, and the next is about conclusion. So without any further ado, let's start our discussion and presentation. What is Azure Model in Teaching? So, it is an instructional system or guideline that teachers can use to develop lesson plans which integrate the use of technology and media. Teachers prefer the Azure model because it is designed to be used for a few hours of instruction and for each individual student. The Azure model is a 6-step instructional system design or ISD intended to help teachers utilize technology and media in the classroom. Azure model can be used in lesson plan to improve your own teaching and your students' learning while using technology. Next, what are the components of Azure? The first is A for Analyze Learners. The second is S for State Objectives. The third is S2. The second S is Select Instructional Method, Media, and Materials. And 4 is U for Utilize Media and Materials. And 5 for R, Require Learner Participation. And 6 is E for Evaluate and Revise.
Now, we will discuss about the focus of Azure. The Azure model focuses on planning surrounding the actual classroom use of media and technology. Azure examines how to plan systematically for the effective use of instructional media and technology. According to Heinix, Molenda, and Russell, 1993, Azure focused on planning and conducting instruction that incorporates media. In addition, the Azure model focuses on the learner and the overall outcome of accomplishing learning objectives. The Azure model is an enriched evaluation of the AD general model. AD consists of, first, analysis. During analysis, the designer identifies the learning problems, the goals and objectives, the audience needs, existing knowledge, and any other relevant characteristics. Analysis also considers the learning environment, the delivery option, and the timeline for the project. Second, design. Design is a systematic process of specifying learning objectives. Design includes name the learning units of instruction, identify content and strategy, write instructions for the learning unit, and others. Third, development. In this part, develop course materials and assembling the course is the main point. It based on design phase, with content, assignments, assessments, with course structure, and upload content is the examples. Next is Implementation. In this part, the plan is put into action and a procedure for training is developed. Materials are delivered and distributed to the students. Implementation includes overview of course, expectations, initiate instruction, and interaction. The last one is evaluation. You can look at the course outcomes with a critical eye. Did the students achieve expected learning outcomes? What have you learned? How can you make the course better? In this phase consists of formative and summative evaluation. Next, we will discuss about the reasons to use Azure model in teaching. There are some reasons why we use it. The Azure model is a fantastic way to plan effective media-rich lessons. Based on Robert Gagne 1985 research revealed that well-designed lessons begin with the arousal of students' interest and then move on to present new material, involve students in practice with feedback, assess their understanding, and go on to follow-up activities. The Azure model incorporates these events of instructions. Also, this model is constructivism based, so the learners must be actively participating in their own learning, interacting with their environment and peers. Azure also recognizes the different learning styles of all students. Based on Gustafsson and Brand's 2002, this model does not require high complexity of delivered media, deep knowledge, or high revision of designs. The main difference between an inexperienced teacher and an expert teacher is that an expert teacher can easily decide on content, appropriate teaching strategies, and delivery medium. The Azure model gives new teachers or inexperienced teachers a general roadmap to follow and help them think more like expert teachers. Also, to become skilled in today's classroom, it is crucial to know when to use a wide range of instructional strategies and passive interactive media.
Hi! So now we will move into the 6 tips of using the Azure model in blended learning. So the first one, we have to conduct surveys and online assessment to a research audience. So to focus on the specific needs of your learners, you will first have to know what those needs are. Like surveys, focus groups, interviews, and e-learning assessments are all valuable tools that can help you to analyze your audience's traits and experience levels. They can also give you a good indication of their learning styles, such as which exercise will appeal to them and how will they absorb the information. Secondly, we have to create custom-tailored objectives. Aside from the organization-wide objectives and goals that you've created, you should also develop goals that are learner-specific. What learning behaviors do they need to display? What knowledge do they need to know by the end of the blended learning course? And is there a particular task that they need to master or skills that they have to build. So you must have a way to test their knowledge and determine if they have actually met their goals and objectives. Okay, so third we have choose tech tools that align with common goals. So one of the most common blended learning strategy mistakes is using the technology for the sake of just for the sake of the technology itself, rather than finding the tools that are ideal for the particular audience and training goals. Ideally, you should choose the tools that your learners are already familiar with or have a minor learning curve, rather than choosing the one that may be difficult to master. For example, if you are developing a group collaboration online assignment that utilizes a project management platform, you must be sure that your learners can actually use the online platform when it's time to work with their peers. Fourth, we have give tech give the tech tools and materials a test run. To verify that all of your tech tools are in working order and that your learners can use them effectively, it's always a good idea to give your technology a test run before you offer them to your learners. For example, if you're using a tablets in the classroom, you should ensure that all of the devices are working properly, fully charged, and loaded with the right applications. If you're using an online tool, verify that your learners have all the information that they need to access the online platform and that there aren't any issues with the logging into the site. Fifth, get the learners involved. As in the case with all learning strategies, it is important to get your learners on board and make sure that they are all excited about the process. Start your discussion with thought-provoking questions that prompt them to seek out of the answers online and expand their knowledge. Creating an online community forum where they can go to address their concerns and getting help from their peers and staying in touch with their online facilitators are helping them. Also, asking for their feedback so they can figure out what's working effectively and what may need to be modified as you move forward with your Azure blended learning strategy. Get them involved so that they feel as though as they are vital part on the blended learning experience and that their opinions really matter. Lastly, understand that your Azure strategy is a work in progress. After you've created your Azure plan, you must keep in mind that it has to adapt with the changing needs of your learners. It must also adapt to the ever-evolving technologies so that you can offer your future learners the best resources you have at your disposal. If there is a learning activity that is no longer serving the needs or goals of your learners, you may want to consider modifying or omitting it from your training curriculum or altogether. The same goes for your e-learning assessment, online training content, or even the level of tech integration. For instance, you may discover that your learners might benefit from even more tech tool usage.
The next is step-by-step in using Azure model in teaching. There are 6 steps here. The first is the teacher should analyze the attributes of their learners. The analysis of the learner should include such as the general attributes of the learner, such as age, academic abilities, gender, interests, and etc. The next is prior competencies and also learning style, such as auditory, visual, and tactile.
The second step here is state standard and objective. This statement consists of a specification of what the learner will be able to do as a result of the instruction. To be more concrete about things, this statement will focus on what the learner will know or be able to do as a result of the instruction. An example of this is with medical student. The learner will be able to name at least 2 databases and 2 search techniques that they can use to locate medical evidence for particular cases. The objectives can be used in assessing the success of students, perhaps for the grading process. Also, you can use them to let the learners know what they will accomplish through the class. The mark of a good set of learning objectives is conformity to ABCDs of well-stated learning objectives. ABCD stand for A, audience, for whom is the objective intended. B, behavior. What is the behavior of performance to be demonstrated? C, condition. What are the conditions under which the behavior or performance will be observed? D, degree. To what degree will the knowledge or skill be mastered? And the third is select strategy, technology, media, and material. It is necessary to pick instructional strategies, technology, and media that will bring about the result that you want. The first is figure out which delivery method will be best for our instructions. For instance, what proportion of our instruction will be instructor-centered and what proportion of what will be student-centered. The first of these are strategies such as lecture, demonstration, or showing a video. The next is strategies such as group discussion or cooperative group work. An effective teacher is facilitator to the process of learning. Teachers have to lead the student to be more excited in learning. Learning becomes more exciting when there is more class participation and cooperative work. So this strategy is really useful to be implemented in learning, and the student also need to have ability to be able to work in a group collaboratively to build their social skills as well.
The fourth step is utilize technology, media, and materials. This step in the Azure process concerns making a plan as to how you will utilize the technology, media, and materials that you have selected. It consists of 5 P's. The first P is preview the technology, media, and materials. You should know how to use the technology, media, and materials that you are going to use and make sure that everything goes smoothly and seamlessly. The second B is prepare the technology, media, and materials. You should prepare all the things that you need in your learning activity and make sure that they work properly. The third P is prepare the environment. This is as simple as you make sure that your desks have enough space and make sure that there are no source of noise that will disturb the student. The fourth P is prepare the learners. You should tell the students what are the learning objectives, like what their assignments will be, how they will be graded, if there are tests, and explain to the students what are the benefits of learning the material. The last P is provide the learning experience. You should be prepared to carry out the lesson with every prior step of the process in mind. This will ensure your success as a teacher. Let's move on to the fifth step. Require learner participation. So you should plan how to make the learners actively participate in your learning activity. It requires that you make plans how you are going to actively engage your students in the material that you are teaching. You should plan how the students will participate in learning process, generally speaking. And the last step is evaluate and revise. This final step is just as crucial as other steps. In this step, you should evaluate your teaching strategies and the technology, media, and materials that you use. You can use this example of questions to guide you through your evaluation. So you can ask these questions to yourself, like, did your lesson meet the learning objectives that you have planned? Can this lesson be improved? Was your choice of media and materials a good one? And is it possible that other technologies, media, and materials would have done a better job? And yeah, that's all of the assured steps. And let's move on to the next.
Next, advantages and disadvantages of Azure model in learning. So, the advantages such as first, is a simple logical model that is easy to use and still powerful. It means that students can use computer softwares to make revisions to their homework quick and easy. Students' needs and levels of abilities are taken into consideration while setting the curriculum, as well the kind of technology needed. Students are active participants, no more passivity when learning is taking place. And the second advantages is learner-centered. So, the learner-centered is more detailed about learners, methods, media, materials, and evaluation. One-on-one relation between students to analyze them early. Early preparation change for revisions according to the critics after the lesson is done. And now we move to the disadvantages, such as the first is doesn't have a visual representation or diagram or a model. So it means that online information can be unreliable and biased. Some technologies like tablets and computers may be in limited quantities, and instructors may not be able to obtain a copy for every student in class. And the next is lacks the step of analysis. And the last is limited to what it can be used for.
The real examples of Azure model case sample. The first step is analyze step. First, analyze learners. General characteristics. This lesson is intended for 7th graders. Students range in age from 12 to 14 years. Several students have identified learning disabilities, whereas others are on the edge of consideration for the advanced mathematics tracks. They come from various socio-economic environments. Generally, students are well behaved. Problems tend to arise, however, when activities are textbook and pencil paper oriented. And the next is entry competencies. The 7th grade mathematics students are able to do the following: select, locate, and utilize appropriate reference materials when preparing research projects using the school library media center. Locate and identify bar, line, circle, graph when examining books or other media. Read and interpret all statistical or numerical information given to them on bar, line, and circle graphs. Demonstrate standard keyboarding skills utilizing AppleWorks on iMac computer with an average typing speed of 35 words per minute. And the last is learning styles. Students dislike the monotony of mathematics textbook assignment paper pencil oriented. They like group oriented activities. Regarding the testing, many students tend to experience difficulty and anxiety during written exams. The class prefer to be evaluated using methods other than paper pencil tests. Assembly criteria, report, application project. The second step is state objective. First, given a bar, A line or circle graph, the 7th grade mathematics student will be able to verbally present all the statistical or numerical information shown on the graph with 100% accuracy. Second, given a set data, the 7th grade mathematics student will be able to accurately construct and produce the printout of graph, bar, a line, or circle, using AppleWorks software according to established criteria. Third, working in a group of 3 or 4 7th grade mathematics students will be able to propose, discuss, and agree on a topic in the presentation. 4. Using AppleWorks software, the 7th grade mathematics student will be able to write and produce printout of a written report regarding the data collection technique associated with the topic of presentation. 5. The 7th grade mathematics student will be able to present their chosen topic in front of the class. Performance will be evaluated based on general content accuracy, specific use of graphs, and cohesiveness of presentation. The third step is select methods, media, and materials. First, overhead projector. The teacher selects overhead projector to introduce the lesson topic. Second, iMac computers. These computers are available in the school. Third, AppleWorks. This is the software that will be used. 4. Video camera and tape recorder. Teacher has observed that the students enjoy watching or listening video tapes and audio tapes of their work. 5. Data projector. The teacher needs a way to show students how to make graphs on the computer. 6. Flip chart. The teacher plans to design graphs to be presented to the class. And the last is handout. Using the iMac and AppleWorks, the teacher will create a set of handouts that coincide with the flip chart graphs.
Next, utilize media and material. First, review the materials. The teacher previews the materials that will be used. Second, prepare the environment. The teacher arranges the students' tasks in the classroom to form table areas. Third, prepare the learners. The teacher presents the overall plan and objectives for the lesson. Each student receives a handout describing the small group activity. In addition, the evaluation procedures are given to each student. Fourth, provide the learning experience. During the introductory phrases, the teacher presents materials using the overhead projector, computer, flip chart, and VCR. Next, require learner participation. First, large group activities. Each student reads and interprets a graph presented to them. Each student writes his or her finding directly on the laminated flip chart page. Second, small group activities. The small group assignment requires students to collect, interpret, and present basic data. They do surveys, observation, and interviews. Last, evaluation and revise. The teacher and students complete the evaluation or survey form. Some questions to be answered regarding the evaluation, for instance, are: first, did your group create and write data collection sheet such as survey, observation, and interview? Second, is your graph easy to read? Third, did your group introduce your presentation topic well? After students completed the evaluation or survey form, the teacher analyzed the data. This data can be a facility for holding class discussions. During the discussion, teachers could gather additional information and data about students' likes, dislikes, and frustrations with the lesson. Based on student comments, the teacher can make some small changes to assignments or classroom learning to make it even better. In addition to changing, teachers can also maintain teaching methods that are already preferred by students. So, the conclusion is the Azure process is really just a matter of common sense. However, it is good to follow a regimented guide to improve your teaching technique. Any effective teacher knows that the perfection of their technique does not come overnight, and there is always room for improvement. By following the Azure process, you will be sure to improve your teaching for many years to come. That's all of our presentation. We hope you can understand our explanation well and get something new from our presentation. Thank you for watching.